I'm going to be walking you through my content marketing workflow. So I run a business and it is run off the back of my audience of about 300,000 subscribers. I've got about 40,000 in the newsletter. I've got a couple of 100,000 across Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. That audience allows me to drive a business and to do pretty well from that as well. What I'm going to be talking about is not about how to become an influencer, not about how to do sponsored posts, but about how to use content to drive a business. This is really important as it becomes vital that you lock down your distribution channels. Building is becoming really easy. Distribution and marketing is becoming more and more important. So what I'm going to be showing you is how I use artificial intelligence to produce around 30 to 40 content pieces every single day, but by still using my human voice, using my human opinions, and then leveraging artificial intelligence to repurpose that into multiple different formats. So that's what we're going to be talking about over the next hour or so. If you want to get a PDF guide, a PDF step-by-step, sign up at aiwithkyle.com and I'll be sending this out later today. If you're watching this later, there'll be a link down below. This will help you to actually enact it. But what I'm going to do is run through the process, show you what you can do, hopefully unlock the idea of content production for you guys so that you can start to build this yourself. Looking extra British. I don't know why. I sound very British. Okay, so 1 hour content engine. How to turn one recording into 20 plus posts, articles, and videos. Let's get into it. So if you run a business, you have been told by everybody for all of time that you need to do content. You need to post videos, you need to write blog articles, etc. When you are running a business, though, you have other things to do. And this stuff slips to the bottom of your list of priorities. You need to build your product, you need to get your sales teams up and running, you need to actually deliver the value that you have promised, you need to then do your bookkeeping and your taxes. There's a lot of plates that you need to juggle when you are starting up a new business. So content marketing, creating content, slips down that list very quickly. However, it is important. It takes a long time for it to get going and give you returns. It might take months, it might even take a year. It took me over a year before my content started to give me financial returns. But it's something that you should be doing because distribution is going to become incredibly important moving forward. We can now build pretty much anything using artificial intelligence extremely quickly. So the name of the game now is distribution. It is not about the product building. Everybody says, oh, you have to post more. If you listen to Gary Vaynerchuk or Alex Hormozi or any of those guys, they're like, post, post, post. You have to keep posting, post more. Never stop posting. But it's hard work and it's annoying. So you have a couple of options. You can hire a team. It's going to cost you a few $1,000s a month. Generally, though, what they create will not really be in your voice. It's generally going to be quite generic. That's fine. If you find the right team and you've got enough money, you can absolutely hire. You can do it yourself. The problem with that is you are also running a business. You are starting up a new business and it's hard to prioritize, especially when you're not necessarily getting any returns from it for months, maybe even years. It's hard to prioritize that when you have other pressing business measures. Or do what most people do, which is shoot a video. They'll get inspired, shoot a video, stick it up on social media. It gets 26 views and 1 like maybe from your mum, and you're like, I'm not ever going to do this again. That tends to be what happens to most people. They will try it, do it a bit randomly, not see any results, and give up, which is a shame because it is incredibly important. So we're going to use artificial intelligence to help us get the job done so that we can generate an audience, so that we can make sales. This is all about business. We are not just going to use AI. If you go on any social media platform right now, it is full of AI slop, especially someone like LinkedIn. My God, LinkedIn now, woo-wee, absolute pits because of artificial intelligence. AI generated posts, AI generated comments. It's a race to the bottom. It makes these platforms valueless. So people will stop going to them. It's going to be a real big problem further down the line. We're not going to do that. We're not going to generate content using AI. The fact that I am talking to you now, live streaming, this is live. This is 11:02 a.m. This is live right now. And I do all my videos just face to camera talking. That's strategic because I want to make sure the human remains in our marketing. If we just rely on AI, if we use faceless video, if we use AI avatars, that is a race to the bottom and it's not going to work because people can smell AI content and they will call you out on it. Especially replies. Don't do that. The problem with AI content, even if the presentation looks very good, is that it's very generic. AI doesn't really have opinions. It doesn't really have a stance. You can nudge it in a certain direction, but ultimately we want to encapsulate what makes us in our content. And AI struggles with that. AI output is very generic because it doesn't have your experiences. So what we're going to do, we're going to be smart. We're going to do something called human in the loop. This inspired this talk today. I'm going and talking at Google on Tuesday. I'm going to the YouTube studios to talk about this topic. And that's in part why I'm doing this today, is to practice, to talk about this topic of putting a human in the loop. We can rely increasingly on artificial intelligence, but the output that we get from it is going to be generic. It's going to smell like AI. It's going to not be attractive to our potential customers. We need to lead with something that is us, so we can start to build up that trust from the beginning. If your content is AI, why should anyone do business with you? I don't think they should, because you are being lazy in your first contact with them. Why should they expect you to be any better once they're doing business with you? So what we're going to do is retain the job of thinking, judgment, taste, our opinion, our thoughts on a particular topic. Our job is opinion, stories, expertise, hot takes, our actual voice. This is still us. This is our fleshy brain talking. And then we're going to hand over to AI production. We're going to hand over the automatic pieces in between, which allow us to capture our voice, capture our stories, capture our content, and then distribute it. So the AI will do transcription, formatting, repurposing, SEO, script writing. By combining the two, this allows us to have something that is unique and human. We are the human in the loop, but at scale using artificial intelligence. That is where it's powerful. This is an overview of what I do every single day. If you want this PDF guide, which walks you through step plus prompts, that's going to be available on aiwithkyle.com. Check below this video or sign up for the newsletter and I'll send it out. So every single morning I sit down and I have an AI agent that has run overnight and it has given me research about topics I'm going to talk about. I sit down and do this live stream. I sit down, I record my thoughts. That includes me ring-and-ahhing, falling over my words, changing my opinions, getting things wrong. That's the human part of it. Then I extract the transcript, convert that into a newsletter, which you can get every single day. From the newsletter, I pull out short form video scripts. I then record about 10 to 15 short form videos based on those scripts, talking to my camera. And those short form videos can also be converted into articles for search engine optimization. So that goes on my page. Again, we transcribe them, turn them into little articles. And then everything is pointing back towards collecting emails, bringing people into my ecosystem, and then loops and loops and loops. So this is what we're doing. We start with one piece of human content, which for me is my live stream, but for you, it could be something different. And we use that to cascade and waterfall out multiple pieces of content using artificial intelligence. Where can we get the PDF? Chris is asking. I will send it out in the next newsletter. And this is it. I need to finish it up. I need to add some graphics, but it will be in the next newsletter. So make sure you are signed up. Recording of this video that you're watching live right now will be on YouTube. We'll tidy it up. So stage one, AI research agent. Every single morning I wake up and I've got a little report waiting for me saying, hey, these are the things you should be talking about today. For me personally, it's AI news. That's my niche. That's my topic. For you guys, it's going to be something totally different. This morning, oh, GPT 5.4 is out. Here's what you need to know about it. Boom, boom. Here are what other people are saying about it. Boom, boom. It will give me all of that information so I can just read a brief and that sparks off the ideas for me. So I will then take that into my live stream. For you, what I highly recommend is talking about your field. If you're doing content marketing, you want to become someone called a KPI, a key person of influence. That's an idea from Daniel Priestley. Basically, you want to become the person in your field. If you help people build overground swimming pools in the state of Iowa, you want to become the person for that. You need to be out there answering questions, talking about overground swimming pool regulations in Iowa, talking about the seasonality. Oh, it's getting cold. It's time to cover up your overground swimming pool, etc. You need to be talking in and around that topic. For me, it is AI news. For you, it's going to be whatever interests your customers. Importantly, you're not going to just be talking about your products, your services. People are not interested. You're going to be talking around the area and you're going to become a key person of influence, an expert within that area that people go to. From that, they will find out about your products. But if you just do TikTok videos saying, hey, this is what I've got to sell today, it will not work. Educate first, educate and entertain. So you set up an AI research agent. This should be a scheduled task. So you can use something like Claude Cowork or ChatGPT Pulse. You can give it custom instructions to pull in certain information for you, or you can build something custom in Claude Code. The main thing is it needs to be on a scheduled cron job delivered to you in the morning. If you can't work out how to do the scheduling, that's fine. You can just have a prompt that you keep saved. Your research assistant for XYZ, compile a morning briefing of the latest developments, give me a 2-sentence summary, why it matters, content angle, rank and relevance. You can just every morning hop into Claude, hop into ChatGPT, stick on the research mode and throw in that prompt. That does the same thing, but ideally you want that pre-done and delivered to you just for speed. So a couple of ways to do it. I have them in my PDF here, but use whatever works for you. Next up, you are going to record your thoughts. Now, it's very tempting to get all this research and then just say to the AI, cool, write me a viral tweet on that. The AI will happily do it, but the tweet will be shit. We need to add your thoughts and your expertise. You are still the expert here. The AI is going to be helping you, but you are the expert and we want to get your thoughts and opinions. So for me, I sit down with my briefing, pull up the web pages, pull up the tweet, and then do a live stream. I do this every single day for about an hour a day. That is psychotic. I do not recommend that. That's basically me being almost a full-time content creator. That is unreasonable for most business owners. So what I'd recommend is sitting down with this news and recording a voice note. You can record into Claude while you're looking at the research, being like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, I didn't know that this was that. And you give your thoughts. You can get things wrong and tell the AI, oh, actually, no, scratch that. Let's go back and talk about this. You can just freeform your thoughts and opinions with an AI using a voice recorder. And that's going to allow the AI to get your take. It's also going to allow the AI to understand what kind of language you use and to script everything in your language. This is the most important part. This is the human in the loop. If you skip this, you will end up with generic AI trash. If you add this, you will end up with something that's unique. So you're going to talk for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour. If you're mad like me and you're doing a live stream, use voice memos, Loom, or go live. If you go live, you get the double punch of people can watch you live. People can ask you questions in the chat here, and I can answer that and add to what I'm doing, but you do not need to go live. No script, just raw thoughts on your topics from the briefing. So incredibly important. You have to do this. Most people skip this, and this is why their content, AI generated content, is crap for this reason. Next up, I take the transcription of my 1 hour live stream. I take the video, chuck it into a tool called Descript. There are other ways to do it. I use Descript. Descript will transcribe everything. It gives me the transcript, and that includes all my ums, it includes all my ers, it includes me swearing, it includes me going on tangents. That's all there in the transcript, so it's quite raw. We then take that transcript and we throw that into an artificial intelligence. You can either automate this or you can just copy paste it. It's up to you. I use that to convert it into the next stage, which is a newsletter. So I'll show you what the newsletter looks like. The newsletter, is this one from yesterday, is everything that I covered on the live. So you can see the video of the live up here, but it has everything I've covered from the live, the kind of main point, any resources connected to it. I will put those tweets in, and then my take. So this will be from the live stream. It gets my opinions in here, but I also manually edit this newsletter to make sure that it is in my voice and that it makes sense. This is primarily 70% AI generated, and then I tweak and change and work on it until it's clean. Being able to put out a newsletter every day is normally a huge amount of work, but because we've gone through this process of researching, recording our thoughts, extracting the transcript, and then converting it into a newsletter, that's allowed us to build a newsletter within 15 minutes of discussing a topic. We're already building assets here. This is really powerful stuff. You can put it through Descript. Whisper does the work, and you want the conversational transcript. You don't want it too clean. You want it to have all of your, sometimes I say that's a whole load of bullshit when I'm talking about some AI company just making some stuff up. We want that kind of stuff in because that is what's going to give texture and flavor to our content. We want the raw stuff. We get that raw text and take it over to Claude or any other AI to tidy that up. I personally use Claude. Claude has been trained in my tone of voice, so it works well for me, but you can use whatever you want. Now we start to get crazy. For each of those topics, I have 3 to 5 topics that I talk about on a live stream. For each of those, I will also spin out scripts. Let me show you what this looks like. If you go on one of my social media platforms, you're like, oh my God, how's he got so many videos? All of these, can you see they're all just me sitting there? They're all sitting in one place. The reason for that is I sat down and recorded 10 videos, just like bam. Yes, that looks very samey on your grid, but in terms of how social media is consumed, it doesn't matter because it pops up in people's feeds. So for you, you might think, oh my God, that looks very samey. That looks very, how are people going to know the difference? Doesn't matter because it's showing up on their feed fairly randomly. So what you're going to do is for every single topic that you've discussed, maybe it's 1, maybe it's 5, you will just spin out scripts. So here's a very basic prompt: write 3 short form scripts, 30 to 60 seconds on this topic. You need a scroll stopping hook, 1 clear insight, and a reason to follow. Dialogue only, so it's not giving you B-roll and camera cuts. Attack the topic from 3 different angles. So that allows me to create 3 different scripts attacking a particular piece. And it can do that again because it has my thoughts and my opinions from this stage. When I talk about a topic, I'm hitting it from many different angles during the live stream, or you will be doing during your voice recording, and the AI will be able to pull them out and put them into individual scripts for you. So then you have multiple ways to hit that topic. Only one of them will probably kick off, and that is absolutely fine. Doesn't matter. This is about volume, and we can use AI to create that volume. So one topic creates 3 distinct scripts. If you have multiple topics, you're going to end up with 12, 15, 18 scripts for you to produce. What I would recommend at this point is you just sit down and talk to your camera. Just record those videos. The algorithms on both Instagram and on TikTok reward yapping, especially TikTok. They want people who are talking to camera. They don't want something that is highly produced. If you have fancy lighting, lots of editing, graphics, VFX and stuff like that is now not working very well on social media. So instead, what works is talking to camera. We can now generate these scripts, and you can use the teleprompter inside of, I personally do in Instagram Edits app. There's a little teleprompter, and I read from the script / go off the script, use it as notes in order to record my videos. And that allows me to record 12 videos in maybe half an hour. So I spend 1 hour doing my live stream, and then I spend half an hour afterwards quickly running off 10, 12, 15 videos. So you can see how this is starting to stack. We now have a live stream, which goes onto YouTube. So you have a long form video. If you've done a live stream, you've got a newsletter. You have maybe 10 short form videos. These short form videos should point back to the newsletter. So you can see we're starting to create a mesh of different connections of different content. Really powerful stuff here. And then from here, let's say you've created all these short form videos, you've got them all onto social media. A next level is you can get the transcriptions of those short form videos and turn them into blog articles. For each of these little stories, they can become embedded on your website. You can grab the transcript, you can convert them into a slightly longer blog article, again, using artificial intelligence, because we have our unique voice. Our unique voice is in the selection of the topics, the takes here, and then the fact that we have recorded that video ourselves. This is also why I don't recommend doing these scripts and then using an AI avatar to produce all these videos. You could do that, but the more you rely on AI all the way through, the lower the authenticity. But it also means that the content will get more generic at each of these steps. So it starts to regress to the mean. Instead, we want to make sure it's getting more unique. So this is optional, but this gives you a massive amount of SEO authority, because suddenly you have lots of long tail articles on very specific subjects. I might have one script which is specifically about Anthropic and the Pentagon are arguing. Amazon, who are one of the largest private investors in Anthropic, have not said anything. No statement, nothing. They haven't said anything about the argument. So that is a very niche point, a specific point to do with a specific argument that not many people are talking about. And suddenly I have a blog article about that. So that is a long tail blog article. And that connects back to the newsletter. It connects to the social media posts. You embed the YouTube version of these social media posts, YouTube Short, so that's going to give you more SEO juice, and everything starts to coalesce and work together. And then one thing you need to do is make sure you are driving all of this to your website, driving all of this to your newsletter. I tell people go to aiwithkyle.com and click here, join this community. That will be the call to action on all of my videos. If you want to get this PDF guide, go to aiwithkyle.com. Every single time you have content, you send people to one place. Go there. The reason for this is then they're seeing your videos. That's the top level of your funnel. They sign up at your website, getting your newsletter. That's the next level of the funnel. They're also getting more detail from you. You get very low detail at the top of the funnel because it is 30-second videos. There's no time for nuance, whereas the newsletter, there's a bit more. And then they continue to spend more time with you. And that is building trust. That is building authority. You're helping more people. And then that's when you can make sales as a business. If you immediately record videos at this point, which are just, hey, buy my stuff, it's not going to work. That does not work. Social media is about helping people, providing value first, and then you say, hey, you've watched 30 hours of my stuff, you've read hours of my newsletter. By now, I think I know what I'm talking about. Are you interested in buying this? That's how we do business nowadays. You build trust by giving a massive amount of value rather than just sticking a product in someone's face and saying, hey, buy this thing for me. Doesn't work. It's gross, let's be honest. So you get this flywheel going. You have to capture emails. We need to get them off the platform. I personally use Beehive. You could use Substack, Kit. I like Beehive. Beehive's great. It's been good to me for the last couple of years. And I think Beehive is free up until 1,000 subscribers, up to 2,500 subscribers. And then you're going to be spending $60 a month. By that point, as you're starting to get subscribers, you can start to monetize. Topic for another time. It depends how many content pieces you want to make. You spend 15 minutes recording your own voice, and then you can output that into a newsletter. It gives you scripts for a bunch of other videos, and you record them quickly. 15, 20 minutes can turn into 20 plus assets every single day. I would not recommend you do what I do. I do a 1 hour live every single day, followed by 15 short videos, a newsletter, clipping all of the YouTube videos up, converting things into blog articles, interlinking on the website. That's a full media company. I can act as a full media company with a very small team thanks to artificial intelligence. So you could go in that direction. But when you do this recording, to start, just do a voice note. Do a 15-minute long voice note, and that's going to be enough to prime this system. Don't try to build a media company from day one because you'll burn out. So instead, your first week action plan is to set up an AI research agent. Next day is to record for 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever is sustainable for you. Do not overthink it. We want your first responses. We don't want you to think about the most diplomatic answer because that's boring. We want your hot takes. Run that transcript through a newsletter prompt and publish. Use Beehive, Substack, totally up to you. Generate a short form script from day 2. Go back to this transcript, spin it out into videos. Maybe that will give you 10, 20 different videos, record them, post them, and then expand. You could do this over a week. Instead, spread it out. Do 1 newsletter a week, maybe, and do 5 to 10 videos a week, maybe, all off this 1 voice note. No need to go live. Do this to start with, and then slowly build up if and when you see the need to do it. Even putting out 1 newsletter and 10 videos a week, that is a lot for most businesses. Yeah, you will do very well if you do that consistently for 6 months. You will do absolutely fine. The main thing here is consistency, because remember I said there's a couple of ways people do content for their business. They hire a team, it's expensive, and they generally create boring shit, unless you're the Duolingo team. You do it yourself and you burn out. So you'll do 10 videos in the first day and think, this is great, and then you'll burn out. Or you just do it randomly. I always see companies like, here we are at our Christmas party, because they thought, we better do some content. It's just a random post of a Christmas party. Nobody cares. So you never get into the swing of it. You never get any momentum. So you have to just have a consistent system. That means you don't burn out, but allows you to produce sufficient volume to know what's working and what's not. We can use AI to help us with that. This step-by-step PDF guide includes the prompts. It includes the different things you can use for transcript extraction, for example, to script, otter, etc. And that will be available in the newsletter. If you're watching this after the live stream, check the link below this video and we'll give you the guide there as well. Hopefully that has been very useful. I'm going to go and have a look at some questions. Do you use NotebookLM? Yes, I do, and I love it. This slide deck that you're looking at was NotebookLM. I produced it 5 minutes before this talk. Oh, you can see in the bottom right, it says NotebookLM. For those of you who don't know it, is one of the best AI tools. It's also free. Nobody knows about it. So I've been bullying people to use it. So what I just did was I threw in some notes about what I wanted to talk about today. So you can see it here. These are my notes. I threw them in, I pressed slide deck, and it produced this slide deck for me. You can see it on the right hand side. A very professional looking slide deck in 10 minutes or so. It can also produce an audio podcast, so you can listen to the content. create video overviews, written reports, mind maps, flashcards, quizzes, infographics, and data tables. If you want to learn something, you input the sources in here. Where's the source button? Here we go. So I can add YouTube videos, I can upload files, I could upload a whole textbook, connect it to my Google Drive, copy text in, or get it to go and research stuff. And then I can use NotebookLM to create learning resources or creating a presentation deck that I can use to present to you. Super powerful. I wouldn't have been able to do this presentation if it wasn't for NotebookLM. I'm not going to sit down and make this deck every single day. NotebookLM is a super powerful tool for content creation. I will do another presentation on NotebookLM some other day. Where can we get the PDF? Sign up for the newsletter and I'll send it out in the next newsletter. Recording will be perfect. Yes, this will be on YouTube. How do you get into AI training? I'm a Humanities grad. Me too, who learned to code and work as a developer. I did history. Modern history is my degree. In terms of training, so when I go and train businesses, I charge about $3,000 per hour. It's about £2,007. If you go to aiwithkyle.com/courses, then the second course here is something called the AI Workshop Masterclass. And this has a video talking about how you get into this, as well as some lessons. So talking about what the opportunity is, why there's a lot of demand right now, the gap that you need to fill, which is not by being technical, it's by being a bridge between your industry and artificial intelligence. We need more communicators and less tech bros. So we talk about that. I've given you a few tools so you can use these to make your first workshop. Third one here is about your workshop structure, what you should include in your workshop, different learning outcomes. I've created you a tool which helps you plan. Fourth is about public speaking. Public speaking is, I know for a lot of you, something that might be a bit intimidating. I've created a roadmap for how you get better at public speaking. I used to be very introverted, but I used to be unable to speak on stage and certainly unable to do something like this, talking to a live stream every single day. There's a guide about how you can get better at that. That is all there in courses, aiwithkyle.com/courses, and then AI Workshop Masterclass will give you all of that information. I did a webinar on it last night, but that was the last one. So I'm afraid you missed that. But there's a video version here, which is similar. It's got some good stuff in there. Who decides what methods of AI assistance are in or out of bounds? I don't know what that means. Oh, because I think people are increasingly equating AI-generated content with AI-assisted content. The thing is with the line's pretty blurred. Increasingly, people cannot tell the difference between AI imagery and AI video and other video. From a functional point of view, they are going to be the same. I know there's companies like Google, Nano Banana Pro has, or Nano Banana 2 has Synth ID. So it has a way for you to be able to tell whether something is generated by Nano Banana. I talked to the product manager of Nano Banana, a guy called David Sharon, and I said, that's fine, but what about all the stuff that's not generated by Nano Banana? Or what about the images and the videos that are real, the real life, but now people do not believe them because of the existence of AI? That's the bigger problem here. So society as a whole, we need to work out how we're going to deal with that and the difference between AI generated and AI non-AI generated. What I wanted to get across today is that if you purely use AI, if I had my AI research agent do the research and then I skipped stage 2 and instead had the AI research agent create a newsletter and create viral videos and use an AI avatar to create those videos and create blog articles using AI, you could 100% do that. The end result is crap. It's very generic sounding. So you can absolutely use AI all the way through, but what we're going to do is inject the humanity using stage 2. So recording your thoughts. That's what makes it more unique to you. Is this pre-recorded? No. I'm seeing a lot of this AI assistance is valid and all other AI assistance is crap in this overview. I'm not quite sure what that means. You have no idea how you do a live every day plus everything else. Habit, I think I'm quite stubborn. Once I decide to do something, I would just do it every single day. I think most successes come from that stubborn willingness to just do the boring thing every single day. I think Hormozi said something about this, which is a really good quote. Boring thing every day. Let me find the quote. Wealth is made by doing boring things for an extended period in more volume than any sane person would find reasonable. Most people will start on a course of work. They'll be like, okay, I'm going to do content, for example. That's what we're talking about today. Or I'm going to do outreach. I'm going to reach out to 100 people a day about buying my product. But they get bored And the results happen after the majority of people get bored and drop out. So yeah, wealth is made by doing the boring things for an extended period of time in more volume than any sane person would find reasonable. You have to be unreasonable. So anyone could do a once a month live stream and a once a month newsletter. That doesn't give you enough volume to gain momentum. You have to do it unreasonably. The challenge is that you need to choose your battles, because if we try to do everything unreasonably, we burn out very quickly. If I was doing live streams and I was deciding to do 20, 30 videos a day, and I was doing 10 sales calls, that's when it starts to go wrong. A lot of it is removal, deciding what things you're not going to do. That's very important. Timing is making social media easy, and generating a newsletter is top of my list. I'll send you the PDF later. We'll be sending it out to everyone else on Monday, but I'll send that over to you soon. So this will be in the newsletter, so make sure you're signed up on aiwithkyle.com. I'll finalize this setup guide and I'll publish the slide deck plus the recording. That will all be available for you in the newsletter. So make sure you signed up at aiwithkyle.com. Thank you so much, everybody. I will see you. Cheers.